What's taking so long to part 3, Wave?
Oh, God forbid I have finals to work on.
Anyways, are you going to stop playing Blaze Blue anytime soon?
Yeah, I played it, and Hazama can suck his own dick, thank you very much.
Okay, so what about that NES game you ordered a while back?
I'll play it soon, hold your...
Are you okay, Wave?
Right, let's just start our part 3.
Starting off part 3 is a Pokemon that personifies the Sin of Wrath. Beignet is an abandoned plush doll that looks for its original owner while injecting fateful pins into itself. I'd make an emo joke here, but that's as tasteless as having Latios near the Olsen twins. So yeah, it's based off of Voodoo Doll. So naturally, its best stat would be Attack. But because of its piss poor defense and speed, the best option is to have a Pokemon set up Trick Room first, and then attack afterwards. And even then, you have to hope that it doesn't die first. So why is it here instead of someone like Dusknoir? Because I love Beignet's design more. Beignet has better abilities than Dusknoir. Beignet has better abilities than Dusknoir. And you don't have to evolve with the right of traits! So you can toss that link cable and throw it in the trash, alongside any hope for a Gen 3 remake. Does anyone remember Swampert? Well, it appears that Team Plasma tried to clone him because in Gen 5, we have the Seismitoad line. Compared to his Gen 3 counterpart, Seismitoad is Windows Vista. But like Vista, he has some advantages over our fishy friend. For one, his abilities are more useful. Swift Swim increases his speed in the rain, Poison Touch poisons your opponent's Pokemon if they use physical moves, and Water Absorb heals your Pokemon if a water move is used. Another advantage is that Seismitoad has a higher speed stat, but that's about it. Its stat total is still smaller than Swampert, it can learn fewer moves from other types than Swampert, and is overall worse than Swampert, so Vista. So why is it here? Well, just because a Pokemon is weaker than another doesn't mean that it can't be on the list. God, how many times have I said that? However, that also means that it can't get any higher than 59. Revenge. Revenge is a mutual savor. Revenge is a fox! Ninetales is one of those cases where it's a great Pokemon with or without its abilities. Without abilities, Ninetales has really good special defense and speed, allowing it to support the team. But it also has decent special attack, allowing it to be a good attacker when its abilities come into play. Ninetales' abilities are set on improving its attack stats. Flash Fire increases its attack when hit by a fire move, and Drought summons Sunny Day, which not only allows Ninetales to quickly use Solar Beam, but it also increases its special attack stat as long as it's out on the field, making it a good asset for a weather team. Ninetales is based on a fox, or to be more specific, the Kitsune, who were intelligent beings that also possessed magical abilities that increased with age. The Ninetale Kitsune, who was a fox that had their fur turn silver gold, and when it gained its final tail it had powers of a god, would be an example of this. Also, considering that Ninetales' Dream World ability raises the sun, it reminds me a lot of Amaterasu from Okami. Weird how that worked. Now, on to that revenge part I mentioned earlier. When I was playing up Pokemon Showdown, I was getting creamed. It got to the point where I wanted revenge. So I got a Ninetales and Sceptile after doing some Smogon research, and they kicked ass as a team. I know a lot of people say revenge is bad, but this was able to help me win battles on Showdown. So thanks Ninetales for helping my team pull out a win. You may notice that a lot of my favorite Pokemon on this list are from the Unova region, but I just love these Pokemon. And to further prove my point, next up it's Hydraegon! Based on a Hydra, Hydraegon is a pseudo-legendary Pokemon with its stat total of 600. For those who don't know, a pseudo-legendary is a Pokemon that has its stat total in the 600s, but are not officially legendary Pokemon like Mewtwo or Articuno. Plus, unlike legendaries, you can breed most of these! Hooray! Hydraegon may not be as good a sweeper as its pseudo brothers, but its special attack stat is fantastic, reaching a maximum of 383. And with its moveset supporting that special attack stat, this Cyber End Dragon can wreck your shit up. It may take a long time to evolve at a level 64, but I think it's worth it. Or you could be Getsis and hack a level 54 Hydraegon into your game. Seriously, Getsis, that was bullshit! In the last part, I talked about the underrated Pokemon Heatmor. In this part, we have another underrated Pokemon, at least to me, to discuss. Created over 20,000 years ago as a doll of mud, Claydol is probably a Pokemon you have either never heard of or hate. Stat-wise, Claydol's mediocre. With its base stat total of 500, it's not as good as other ground or psychic types released in the 3rd generation. So what can it be used for? Claydol's only good use in competitive play is support. With high defense stats, it can take hits and set/remove entry hazards, or help the team in double battles. Funny thing about that defense though, Claydol's special defense stat is the highest of all ground type Pokemon, and is also the only ground psychic Pokemon thus far. As for design, Claydol is either based on a clay figurine or the Arabaki, an ancient Japanese god from long ago. It's an okay design, but it makes me worry about what Claydol is able to see with those many eyes. If you had that many eyes, you could see from every angle, and for some instances, that may not be a good thing. Here we have the Raiju-based Pokemon, Manectric. Wait. They reused the origin of Raikou?
Not quite. The Raiju can transform into various mammals.
Oh, well, I guess that makes sense. It's not uncommon for a Pokemon generation to have a fast electric type introduced. Gen 1 had Jolteon, and Gen 2 had Raikou.
Hey, that's cheating! Raikou's a legendary!
Hey, Ampharos is slow. Cut me some slack.
Wow, that's offensive.
Offensive? Why do I bother? Anyways, Manectric is a special sweeper, and with moves like Flamethrower and Volt Switch, it can be a threat in the RU tier. Its abilities are decent, and it has access to Static and Minus, but this Pokemon also has access to Lightning Rod, which increases its special attack if hit by an electric type attack, making it useful in double/triple battles, or for a switch-in for single battles. Seriously, I've beaten a few strong Pokemon with this ability, it is that great. Plus, I love this design, it looks so adorable. Not in that way, folks. Puppy love. But considering Gen 6 added so many new moves/strategies for older Pokemon, it kinda makes me wonder why Manectric didn't get a boot. Putia, could you transition to the next scene? I need to go bang my head against the wall. Please tell me this is the last Gen 3 entry for a bit.
Oh, stop whining! You wanted to do this list, so suck it up!
Fine. Yet another entry that some people may have never heard of. Hariyama, based on a sumo wrestler, manages to push his way onto this list. Competitive-wise, Hariyama is a physical attacker, with its second highest stat being attack, which can reach a maximum of 372. But there's also its highest stat, its HP, which can reach a maximum of 492? Holy Arceus, that's high for a fighting type. In fact, its HP stat is the highest of all fighting type Pokemon thus far. That's impressive. And with its ability Guts, plus Toxic Orb, it can be a real threat on the battlefield. Just as long as it's in its right tier. In Generation 5, Game Freak put their best foot forward to improve a type that was mocked for so long. Bug-type Pokemon. Although we saw Lavender in Part 2 as an example of good bug types, at least to me, this next Pokemon outspeeds it. Scolipede, based on a centipede, oh shit, I just rhymed, may have a generic typing of bug and poison, but it has so many bonuses to it that it doesn't matter.
So why bring it up?
Script.
That is one of the dumbest things you have ever said.
Scolipede is useful in competitive play as a supporter. with a great speed stat, which is even better if Scolipede has its hidden ability speed boost, and a decent attack stat. So you can set up spikes or stealth rock, or raise its speed and use baton pass to help out a slow Pokemon on your team. Oh, and its other ability Swarm is, yeah, I guess. I already mentioned Poison Point, so I'm not going to talk about it again. When I was not raging at Tentacles in the 3rd generation, Sharpedo was pissing me off when I faced it. Using a Sharpedo, on the other hand, I liked it. For one, speed boost. On top of its decent speed stat and high attack stat, Sharpedo is a physical sweeper, and its moveset complements it, with the majority of its moves being physical moves. Speaking of physical, there's also its original ability, Rough Skin, which causes the attacking Pokemon to take damage if they use a physical move on Sharpedo. Sure, it may have 5 weaknesses, but with its typing of Water and Dark, it also gains 6 resistances, so it balances out. Sharpedo is also based on sharks, and its fangs can rip through even metal. Whoa, I hate to see this guy fight a Magnus. When Generation 2 introduced the Steel and Dark type, one of the Pokemon to get the Steel treatment was a Pokemon that was mediocre in the 1st generation, at least to me. What entry is it, you may ask? I may have said this Pokemon was overrated a long time ago, but using it again, I still stand by that. However, it's still a great Pokemon. Although you have to trade Nonix with a Metal Coat to get it, I still hate that mechanic by the way, the end result is worth it. Steelix is a physical wall, and with a physical defense stat of 200 base, it has the highest physical defense of all ground-type Pokemon thus far. Man, this many records. What is this, the Guinness Book? As for its abilities, Sturdy is good for walls, as it can survive a one-hit KO, but Rockhead and Sheer Force are useful for physical attackers like Aerodactyl, Slasher, and Pardos. But for Steelix, these 2 abilities can work, but it's a little tricky considering most sets I've seen mainly focus on it being a wall. But it can work, I guess. On the positive side, it only has 4 weaknesses and gains 8 resistances. So if Steelix is such a great wall, why is it so low? Well, because there's one wall in Generation 2 that I find to be much better.